And Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, they fucked up. Ryan's trying to get out of it now.
A rumor is growing fast that Robert Downey Jr. is having trouble on the set of his new Avengers film with Ryan Reynolds.
Jr. demanded reshoot. Behind the scenes issues with the actors are due to a clash of egos. Jeff Snyder claims that the production on Avengers Doomsday faced major setbacks involving Robert Downey Jr.
This has been a labor of love getting this made.
Yeah, it's been the best and worst relationship I've ever been in. 11 years I've been trying to get this movie made.
Marvel said we'll shoot your scene separately, or we'll figure it out in some other way.
The internet is buzzing with whispers, and rumors say Joe Rogan went ballistic. Not in his usual, did you know a chimpanzee can rip your face off way, but in a full-on comedy special roast of Ryan Reynolds. This wasn't a playful jab, this was a verbal beatdown, and it was so funny that it had people in tears.
Details on the clash that happened between two actors on the set of Avengers Doomsday have hit the net.
It's growing fast that Robert Downey Jr. is having trouble on the set of his new Avengers film with Ryan Reynolds.
Or keep sinking like a stone at the box office. But the real problem for Disney is that their next big bet, Avengers Doomsday, is mired in production trouble behind the scenes, of the kind that is giving Fantastic a run for its money. Kevin Feige is, in other words, up a creek without a paddle.
Bob Iger makes 400 times what his lowest worker is, and I think that's a shame, Bob.
It all started with a simple question about the latest Marvel movie, Avengers, Doomsday, and the conversation quickly devolved into a tirade of insults aimed directly at Reynolds. Rogan, with his signature unfiltered commentary, tore into the actor's very persona, calling him a walking meme who thinks he's a movie star. The audience was left in stitches, but the real question remained, why was Rogan so angry with Deadpool's alter ego in the first place? And what could Reynolds possibly have done to provoke such a legendary comedian?
And after Spider-Man Brand New Day will not be in the Avengers film at all. They will not mention him, he's not going to show up, and Tom Holland will not be in the film at all. Now, in regards to why, it seems like that it's more or less because the film doesn't want to account for him, and they didn't want to have a giant mess behind the scenes trying to alter filming.
The answer, it seems, lies on the set of the new Avengers movie, a production that's been shrouded in secrecy and filled with growing tensions. Rumors say that Robert Downey Jr., the man who built the MCU into a billion-dollar empire, was having some serious trouble with a new cast member. And who was this new cast member? None other than the king of online trolling himself, Ryan Reynolds. It's not a surprise that two of Hollywood's biggest egos were bound to clash, but the way Rogan described it, this wasn't just a simple disagreement. This was a full-scale battle of wills, and according to the whispers, it was Reynolds who started the whole thing.
Now, the tension between the two of them, that's where things get a little wonky. Now, this tension actually came from Jeff Schneider, who he has his own site. I have a history. I don't always believe his stuff, but he has gotten some scoops right. He is one of those scoopers out there, reporters. It's not always into the Marvel scene, but gets.
The conflict reportedly got so bad that Downey Jr. had to demand a complete reshoot of several scenes, and the reason for the tension was a single, sarcastic comment from Reynolds. According to Rogan, Reynolds' humor, a weapon honed on the anvil of social media, was unleashed on Downey Jr. at the worst possible time. The word from behind the scenes is that while Downey was trying to nail a difficult, emotional scene that took days to get right, Reynolds would crack jokes, make silly faces off camera, and generally act like the entire set was a live-streamed stand-up show.
Behind the scenes. Now, here's what he actually said on his podcast. I've heard that they paid Robert Downey Jr. 50 to 60 million. Disney had to reshoot for 3 weeks. They reshot 3 weeks worth of material because apparently, and this is what he heard, they had an actor standing in for Downey Jr. in the Dr. Doom suit, basically wearing the mask and the suit. They had a body double and a face double, and Downey stood off camera reading the lines. Apparently, after 2 or 3 weeks, he was like, this isn't working. I want to reshoot everything with me in the suit. Now, I can't confirm this.
Rogan roasted Reynolds for this, saying, "You don't clown around when the man who gave an entire generation its heroes is trying to work." He argued that the sarcastic digs cut deep, especially when they were hitting a person who had spent his entire life working to regain the respect he now holds. And the worst part? It was all allegedly for a social media post. So, what did Reynolds say to finally set off Downey Jr.? The on-set drama came to a head when Reynolds allegedly made a joke about Downey's past struggles, a line that was meant to be a clever quip, but landed like a punch in the gut. Rogan said Reynolds, in his quest to always be the cheeky guy, crossed a line that should never have been touched. The tension on the set of Avengers Doomsday was already high, with Downey Jr. working to protect the integrity of a character that he's poured over a decade of his life into. Rogan's rant went on to say that Downey's dedication to the craft is what separates him from a circus act. Rogan then made a joke saying Reynolds' career path was just one giant retweet button. But the question remains, how did Downey Jr. respond to Reynolds' sarcastic dig? Downey Jr., a man who has always valued professionalism and dedication, reportedly didn't laugh at all. The whispers say he put a stop to the entire production, demanding that Marvel scrap 3 weeks of footage because it wasn't up to his standard. According to Rogan, this was not an act of arrogance, it was an act of a true artist protecting his work. The rumors say that Downey Jr. told the studio executives that he wasn't there to star in a fake movie with a fake stand-in. He was there to deliver the real Iron Man, and if it meant losing 3 weeks of footage, so be it. Rogan went on to say that Reynolds mocking that level of dedication was a clear sign of a guy who simply doesn't get it. And it's that lack of respect that, reportedly, drove the final wedge between the two. The ultimate issue was not the lack of professionalism, but the public stunt Reynolds pulled after the fact. Rogan then delved into the behind-the-scenes drama that saw Hugh Jackman, another titan of the superhero genre, getting dragged into the mess. The whispers are that Reynolds' jokes weren't just aimed at Downey Jr., but also at Jackman. You have these two legendary actors who put their entire careers on the line to play iconic characters, and here comes Reynolds, allegedly turning the entire set into a joke. The rumors are that Reynolds was trying to position himself as the new face of the Marvel franchise by undermining the old guard. Rogan then said, Reynolds must have been a magician in his past life. Why? Because the amount of attention that he wants to get on the internet is baffling. It's like he wants to hijack the spotlight from the people who built the universe. So what did Jackman do after hearing Reynolds' jokes? Reports say that Jackman, being the professional that he is, tried to stay out of the conflict, but he couldn't avoid Reynolds' antics forever. The rumor is that Reynolds began posting cryptic social media posts that stirred up more rumors about the on-set tensions. According to Rogan, Reynolds knows exactly what he's doing. He's a marketing genius who's weaponizing drama for clicks. Rogan argued that this type of attention-seeking behavior is the complete opposite of how Downey Jr. rebuilt his legacy. Downey worked to regain the trust of the industry, while Reynolds plays in the chaos. He then added that this is what happens when you let a teenager handle the keys to a Lamborghini. He's all over the road, swerving here and there, and doesn't even care about getting to his destination. The public's perception of the film is now being shaped by this mess. And how is that affecting the entire cast? Rogan then went on to say that this drama sends a terrible message to the younger cast members on set. The new generation of heroes, still trying to prove themselves, have to witness two veterans locked in a competition fueled by ego and disrespect. Rogan stated that Reynolds is teaching the new generation of actors that branding and memes are more important than teamwork and hard work. That's a dangerous precedent to set on a billion-dollar production. The entire crew, from the directors to the writers, now has to walk on eggshells because of one guy's attention-seeking behavior. Rogan pointed out that these films are already logistical nightmares, and adding in a chaos merchant only makes things worse. So, in this mess, what's in it for Reynolds? Rogan speculated that Reynolds' motives for pushing so hard to be at the center of this new Avengers event weren't about creative passion. According to Rogan, it was about hijacking the spotlight from the man who built the MCU, a man who has sacrificed his career for the role. Rogan said, Reynolds is acting like a rookie fighter in the gym who is trying to clown the champ. You might get a few laughs from the sidelines, but you don't earn respect, and when the champ gets tired of the nonsense, he's going to hit you with a knockout punch. The more Rogan spoke, the clearer the picture became. Reynolds wasn't just a playful disruptor. He was arrogant and reckless. Rogan then said, Reynolds is like a comedian who buys a church and then turns it into a nightclub because he can't handle the pressure of living up to the sanctity of the church. So, what happens to the film if this continues. Rogan warned that if the drama continues, the film could be remembered more for its behind-the-scenes drama than for its on-screen spectacle. He said that a single man's ego could derail the entire franchise, and he pointed the finger squarely at Reynolds. Rogan then said, "Downey isn't the problem. Reynolds is the problem." The man who has spent his entire life working to be taken seriously is now being undermined by a guy who acts like a professional internet troll. The tragedy, Rogan concluded, is that millions of fans will walk into the theaters looking for Marvel magic, but they might walk out talking more about egos and actors' feuds than about the heroes themselves. What started as whispers about Downey being difficult has turned into a full-scale takedown of Reynolds' reputation, and for once, the culprit in Hollywood's latest drama is clear. What will be the final verdict on Reynolds' actions?